Our next guest says that when it comes to China, Trump's determination for good relations is actually creating risk, and that higher tariffs on trading partners like the EU only makes China more competitive in the American market. Joining us now is Derek Scissors, Asia economist at the American Enterprise Institute. Derek, great to have you with us. I'm going to start off right where we left it off with Meghan in terms of the backlash amongst member countries, the perception that the deal with the U.S. was not fair in the end. And I'm wondering how that sets China up, if they might be more determined to appear strong and to not look like they're caving into Donald Trump.
I think what the Chinese are worried about is what Meghan said at the end for Europe. She said that what Europe gets out of this is more certainty for now. And I think another way of saying more certainty for now is not more certainty. If the Chinese make a deal with the United States, if they're willing to do that, I think they understand. I think Europe understands. They're not doing anything other than buying themselves some time, 6 months, a year, who knows. And that's the major concern that the Chinese have. It's not necessarily being tough. They've already shown that they're tough in the run-up to these meetings. It's that if you make a deal with the U.S., how long does it last? Right.
And in terms of the extension, I mean, Eamon was just saying out of Stockholm that an extension would be seen as a win here. And so to your point, it's uncertain how long the certainty will last. And so an extension will be an extension until the next sort of milestone. And at that point, what is a tactic here for just extending out the deadline again and again and again?
Right. The president, as you guys said, the president wants a meeting with Xi, in China, in the U.S. somewhere, but a big meeting, not just a sideline meeting where they come, somebody comes out and gives a report of what the meeting was. He wants a big event, and he wants, a big deal with lots of dollar figures involved. We've seen this pattern. So they're stalling to see if the Chinese will agree to that and whether they can announce it. That's the next milestone. The milestone is put things off, put TikTok off, freeze export controls, all of those things, until you see, are we going to have this big meeting with Trump and Xi?
Do you think that a big deal could be touted if it didn't involve TikTok, if it didn't necessarily involve fentanyl, if it didn't, but there were products to be bought, American products, investments to be made?
Well, I mean, the phase one trade deal, which failed in the first Trump administration, involved mostly higher U.S. exports.
Right.
We could go down that road again. I don't think you can get mass Chinese investment in the U.S. There's a lot of grassroots opposition to that, especially among Republican voters. So I think that, which we've seen promises from Japan and the EU, or at least with regard to Japan and the EU, I don't think that's on the table. So if you want a really big deal, yes, purchases of American products, but you probably need other things in there. And that's one of the risks that you talked about, that the deal doesn't work. It's not like you get a Trump-Xi visit and, okay, magic, now we have a great deal. You could have a lot of buildup and then a failure, and then the relationship looks worse in 2026.
All right, Derek, we're going to leave it there. Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.